I know that the millionaire, per job, per what we're doing, is not going to pay any more than the 100-aire or the 1,000-aire. You know, they're not going to pay any more. Okay, everybody. Well, it's not morning no more, so yeah, I've been taking care of a few things around the house. And I told this guy right here that I would do this job. He probably just rented a machine. Damn, dog. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe I don't want to do that job. You need a dumpster, dude. Well, that guy was advertising on Nextdoor, you know, needing somebody, and I mean, I know the dude, and he never responded to mine. Must not like me. I'm easy not to like, so having a good dumpster contact is a big deal, y'all. You know. So tell you what, man, I'm really missing my truck. I haven't. It'll be 2 weeks tomorrow, man, and because this is becoming. I mean, come on, man. You ain't even looked at it in 2 weeks. I mean, who the hell can go without their truck for 2 weeks, or vehicle for 2 weeks, man? It ain't talking about no body work or nothing. I mean, I ain't even got a quote yet. I don't know, man. I mean, it just don't compute. If you don't have the text, I get it. You should at least be calling me and telling me, hey, man, we might not have a tech over here for me. You might have taken it to another dealer, and let me know that. And if that's the case, then, you know, I might do that. Well, I will. I mean, come on, man. I thought for sure the Ford dealer would just, you know, it'd be easy for them. Well, I appreciate all the comments on the video yesterday. I had a couple guys come in, comments, and they, you know, everybody does things their own way. We know that. So, we, you know, talking about the lawn that I didn't want to do. You know, that's the thing about being self-employed. I don't have to, you know, I don't have to justify or do any jobs that I don't want to do. Now, and knowing that, you gotta make sure you can pay your bills too when I say that. So one of the guys come in there and said, yeah, you know, that I had rather do the, you know, the weedy yards and stuff. Right. I mean, you know, and we can go through it again this summer. You know, what is wrong with doing yards that are not so manicured? There ain't nothing wrong with that. I had rather, and I'm saying it here, I had rather do the yards that don't require all that detail. And anyway, and then, you know, a dude was saying something about, you know, and he wasn't, you know, it wasn't nothing bad or anything. I'm not, you know, no disrespect or anything. But, and then he went on to say something about, you know, yeah, I would do that one weekly and all. You're not going to do the yards for the most part down here weekly, man. I mean, I don't know where people think that. And y'all act like, you know, I just started doing this yesterday. I kind of know what things are, and I know there are some guys that all they do is weekly. I know that. I get it. Okay. But she don't want weekly. So a week ago, will go over there and say and go through all the rigmarole that I went through with her, so, you know, looking at it and everything. And then he would drop the bomb weekly, and then she would say no. So so the weekly guy ain't doing the property either. No, no different than me. Does that make sense? You know. So, and I don't know what the thing is. Like some of these guys, and I'm not saying nothing to anybody, you know, I'm calling nobody out or nothing, but some folks think because you do weedy yards, then you're less than what they are if they do, you know, high-end manicured yards. Well, the high-end manicured yards take longer, and you need labor. and they don't pay much more, if at all. Just saying. You saw what she was paying. I mean, $100 for that yard? Come on. And the dude was doing it for 80. And that's why he's not doing it no more. I didn't tell her that, but it's funny that he's going to not do her property anymore, but he's going to do the other ones he's got in the neighborhood. He just told her that he couldn't do hers no more. I'm just saying, y'all, it's like, I don't know, man. You know, the weekly guys and the guys that do the manicured lawns, they come at me in my comments like they're better than the guys that do just regular lawns, where people don't care, where this is what they say, where people don't care what it looks like. But they do care what it looks like, or they wouldn't have a lawn guy at all. Let's just keep it 100, man. You know, if they didn't care what it looked like, they won't have a lawn guy. You know? And in my area, and I've been doing this a long time in this area, you know, if there's a living to be made with weekly lawns, I have not seen it. Maybe that's because whoever is doing the weekly lawns has got them all. Because I guarantee you, there's a whole lot more bi-weekly than weekly in my area where I live. I know that because I've been around a long time, lived here a long time. I've been in the lawn maintenance game a long time. And for guys to think that for guys to come back at me and say, oh yeah, I know there's gonna be somebody gonna come back and say, oh yeah, there's just as many weekly as there are bi-weekly. Well, you're not being honest, man, with yourself. So, and I personally, and that's another, you know, thing that I'm about. I don't really, if I'm not doing all my yards weekly, then I don't want to do none weekly. And I personally, my personal preference, I don't like doing the yards weekly because most of the time they don't need it. Sometimes they get a little shabby. Most of the time in my area, the yards they're not hardcore needing it. And some people just like to see a couple of guys out there pulling weeds out of their beds, you know, and some customers like to look out the window and see 3 or 4 guys out there, you know, working in their yard for an hour or two. But they're not going to find me out there working in their yard for an hour or two. And I do some manicured lawns, but the customer can't be real picky. I'll be the first one to say that. I don't think there's as much money in the manicured lawns as there is in the weedy yards. You know, overall. Now, because it's going to take you twice as long to do that, and you're not going to make twice the money. God was saying something about that yard over there, like I was scared that I couldn't meet her expectations. There ain't nothing scared about it. I don't have to be scared. I'm in business, and I know me, and I know that as soon as I get over there, go over there in that yard, and I slide down one of them slopes, or she had valleys in the back like this, y'all, and rock all in the bottom. And I mean, you got to ride that side, then you got to ride that side. You can't hit no rock, and you know, it's just a big headache, dude. You know, no matter the money, I don't know that I'd want to do it, because at the end of the day, when you're self-employed, it's all about how I want to spend my time, and I do not want to spend my time in some manicured lawn for, you know, pulling weeds and stuff for $100 or $120 when I can go do 3 $60 or $80 lawns and not even have to get off the lawnmower. I mean, so and I'll do those 3 about the same amount of time it'll take somebody to do that one, or at least do 2. So I'm going to be making, so at the end of the day, I'm going to be making more money, and I'm going to have to work as hard. And I don't have to have labor. I'm not going to run over there to that yard for whatever she's willing to pay and make money solo. a nightmare. And see, the older I get in this business, the better I am at identifying customers that, I'm not saying they're bad customers or they're wrong or whatever. I'm just saying that I don't particularly like doing those type of properties. Nothing complicated at all about it. And now, if I didn't have all these trashy, weedy yards, whatever they want to call them, then I guess I would be forced to do those yards. But I don't. I'm not forced to do them, because I got a lot of customers, and I got people calling me all the time trying to hire me. And then I got a skid steer too. So, you know, I can go do one skid steer job. And like a guy was saying in the comments, I like that comment. He was saying, well, hell, you can do one skid steer job and that'll be all the money that lady will pay you all summer. Exactly. And I don't want to deal with the fallout from having to get the customer, build the schedule around that customer, and then have that customer calling me complaining that one of my guys missed something, or I missed something, or I slid in the yard, or any of those type of things. And then one of the guys goes on, and I'm not calling nobody out, and one of the guys goes and says they got, you know, that's why all their equipment's special. They got mulch kits on all their mowers. That's nothing special, man. Come on. Anybody can put a mulch kit on a lawnmower, dude. I mean, act like you done went out and bought a $15,000, $20,000 lawnmower that is a specialty mower to do properties like that. You basically added a mulch kit onto a existing lawnmower or two or three. And by the way, that makes that costs you. So now that makes, well, your expenses are higher than mine, because you got a $400 mulch kit on there, and I guarantee you're not able to make any more money than I can doing those yards with the mulch kit, and you got to pay for the mulch kit too. I don't. So, you know, it really comes back to what you want to do, right? And I don't want to do those type of yards. But I am a landscaper, and I will entertain looking at them, because I don't know what I don't know. And I'll go, if it's not going to cost me a lot, I'll go over there and look at it and chat with the lady and kind of get a bead on everything. I got a lot of information from her on what she spent for the forestry mulching in the back, for what she spent to have all them rock put in, for what she, you know, for what she spent to have about 30 trees dropped and ground up. I mean, so it wasn't like I wasted my time. Now, if she lived 20 miles away, I wouldn't even have, I would have looked at it online, and I wouldn't even went over there and looked at it. So, you know, don't come down on guys like me, because we're pimping the lawnmowers to do all the work, and we're not pimping the labor's back to pull weeds and do all the grunt work like that. Not me. Hell no, man. And now, if you were making 3 times as much money, okay, I get it. But you ain't. I know somebody's gonna come in the comments to tell me that they are, and I'm gonna tell them they ain't, and then it's gonna be a back and forth, and then it's just, you know. But at the end of the day, those rich customers that got the manicured lawn, OCD customers got the manicured lawn, they ain't spending no more money than anybody else for the time that you're there. So if I'm on a yard for 40 minutes and I do 60, and you're on a yard like that one and you're getting 100, well, the hourly rate about, you know, they ain't paying, they're not gonna pay you $200 for 40 minutes and their neighbor pay me $60 for 40 minutes. You see what I'm saying? When you break it down by the time, they're not gonna pay any more money. They're not gonna pay you $300 to come to their property for an hour. I ain't gonna say I have never experienced that like that. And you know, there's a sucker born every day, though. You know, I'm just saying the percentages and all about labor versus what it takes to do the property versus what they're willing to pay on the high-end yards, it ain't no different. It ain't much better, if at all, than the run-of-the-mill yards you guys see me do. The bread and butter of the whole my lawn care business ain't the $1 million homes. I don't cater to that because I know the $1 million homes and the millionaires, they ain't gonna pay what I think I need to make. They're trying to chump you off for everything, on everything. And then if they're real OCD about the property, they calling and complaining, I don't want to deal with none of that stupid stuff. You know, well, you need to do the yard better, Ray. I'm only gonna do the yards as good as I can, based on what I'm working with. So, are there people that can do the yards better than me? Oh yeah, I'm sure. You know, sure. But I don't have to you know, I do a YouTube channel, and you know, I don't have to justify doing yards on a $300,000 house, or you know, versus you know, $750,000 house. I don't have to justify me doing that yard, because I guarantee you, when you break it all the way down to the last compound about how much money you're actually making in expenses and all, you ain't making no more money than us guys that do the $60 lawns. Guarantee it. Because now you're required to have labor. See, all I have is like 1 or 2 properties where I'm required to have labor. Out of all the properties that I do. But I just want to throw that out there because it seems like the weedy, trashy yards, the non, you know, turf yards, it seems like they get a bad rap. You know, just like I said, that lady the other day, she's not going to pay for weekly. That's the first thing she said. I said, I want bi-weekly cuts. So she's not going to pay for weekly. So that's just my 2 cents. And you know, and there are exceptions to every rule, if you will. There's an exception. I mean, they say, you know, I've had people come in the comments that say they live in my area and they make a fortune, you know, doing weekly lawns. And then one guy was saying something about every 10 days. I don't do any every 10-day yards. The only way I would do every 10-day yards is if every one of my customers on a 10-day rotation. If you try to incorporate every 10-day yards in with every 2-week yards or every week yards, you know, that's a nightmare. Try it. Try it. Your efficiency goes way down. So you're not really going to make any more money. If you got to put a $400 mulching kit on your mowers, well, you got 4 mowers. Well, that's $1,600 more that the mowers that you got in a mower that somebody else don't. I'm not saying that a mulching kit is not a good or a bad thing. I'm just saying it's not a specialized piece of equipment or nothing. I mean, come on, man. I personally don't like mulching kits. Everybody that watches the channel knows that. Because I can't do the yards as fast, especially on the great big fieldy cuts. I would not want to run my business with a mulching mower where I live at. I'm not saying you can't, but I mean, I wouldn't want to. That's crazy. That damn Bermuda and zoysia grass down here gets so thick, and now I guess if you're doing them every week, like the guy said, I guess if you're doing them every week, you know, you might be able to get away with that. But I don't do them every week. See, there's all kind of different ways that people does things, and there ain't no right or wrong way. I'm doing things the way that I know I'm going to make the most money in the minimal time. And I know that the millionaire is not going to pay me more than the 100-aire. So, but I got to run in here at Home Depot real quick like and grab something real quick like, and I'll kick it, y'all.